Hi, everyone, and welcome to Tap Into Your Creativity. I am so excited to have my good friend, Roben-Marie Smith, joining us today. She is going to hopefully request to go live with me. I see that you're here, so I'm going to see if I can bring you in. Okay, and
Hey,
there she is. I'm like, you and I cannot have this going on.
no, not at all. You never know. Yeah, it's weird because my Wi-Fi went out the other day and it took me 24 hours to get things going. And I thought, oh no, I have got to have this back up and running on Saturday.
I'm like, oh my God, like, no, this cannot happen. So
No,
I am
no.
so excited, Roben-Marie, that you are joining me again after more than a year from our last interview. I can't even believe that it's
Hmm.
been that long.
Yeah, I mean, we say sometimes, hey, time flies. I have got to say, last year seemed to literally just, I blinked and it was gone. I don't know. It really did. I don't know.
Yes. I think for all of us, it's been
Yeah,
like this, like just a blur of the last couple of years, I feel
yeah,
like.
I
Not
think
even
so.
last year. I feel like the last 2 years, it's like, wow, like where did the
Yep.
time go?
Yeah, for sure. For
Um,
sure.
but I'm so happy and excited that you're back because
Yeah.
you and I haven't really talked because I wanted a little bit of the surprise and just the organic conversation that we
Mhm.
always have. And for people that don't know you well, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you
Sure.
are?
Sure. I'm a mixed media artist. I've been creating since and running my business since about 2004. So I'm kind of an old timer, I guess you could say. I live in Florida and I mean I just love creating and I love helping other artists as well. One of the things that I'm very passionate about is helping them with the tech side of things. I'm very tech savvy as well as creative and helping them build their websites and understanding video and Instagram and all of it. I love teaching that. So that's another thing I actually am involved in too. So yeah.
Yes. And so just give us a little bit of your background and how
Sure.
you became who you are today for people that,
Sure.
have not, we haven't really talked for a long time. And I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
the backbone of who you are, makes you who you are today. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to go through that quickly. So like I said, I've been kind of in the business for a while. My degree in college was in marketing and public relations. It was not in art at all. And I thought at the time, okay, well, I can't really make a living at art. At least they told me that. And so it was like, okay, well, I'll pick something. And anyway, long story short, my husband's job moved us around a lot. And so we ended up in Florida and I was working with, at the time, scrapbooking and rubber stamps. And I was teaching a little bit and just learning really to figure out what do I love? I wanted to try everything from jewelry making to painting, the whole nine yards. And one of the days I was sitting at one of the local stores where I was teaching, and I said, I wonder if I could just make my own stamps and then I'd have what I'd wanted. So I created my own stamps, started a rubber stamp company, and I ran that for quite a while. And all through that process, learning how to have an online business and how to do all the things, and just learned and just figured out what I loved. And I love paper, I love collage, I love painting. And things just kind of always shift a little bit. You find that you like something and then you explore that and then you find something else you like and you explore that. But it just all kind of circles around. But my story didn't start out as being an educated creative or artist. It was just one of those things where I always was creative. And then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do what I love. And that's, kind of where I'm at today as far as my art side of myself. So yeah.
I think it's easier said than done. You just told us like this whole like, like wow. So the stamping business, I mean,
Mhm.
that in itself, we all have ideas in our minds and to actually put it in action because
Yeah,
it's very hard, to have small achievable goals, which I
sure.
tell people to always do,
Right.
versus huge goals
Yeah.
that you're not going to succeed and you're going
Yeah.
to, it's going to be hard. I
Right.
feel like you took upon this really big idea and you
Mhm.
actually made it work. So can you talk us through that?
Sure. Yeah. When I was in the store, I was actually ordering stamps, and I said to the one of the girls in there, I said, as I said, I could do this and just have what I want. And she said, you should do it. I was like, yeah, maybe I should. And so I did some research. There was not a whole lot of information out there about how to make rubber stamps. And so I had to figure it out and call companies and ask questions. And I told my husband what I wanted to do. And his question was, well, how much is that going to cost? I go, I don't think it's going to cost that much, really. And so, but I'm going to need your help, you know, and he was working a full-time job, then he wasn't retired, and he became a big part of the business. And so I just did the research, figured it out, got on the computer, made them, got, you know, the sources I needed to help me manufacture them. And then at the time, though, we didn't have the Shopify's and the Squarespaces and those online shops. So my first shop was, I think it was called It's My Site. And every single item had a PayPal button. So I had to come up, you know, get a
Oh
PayPal
gosh.
button, get a PayPal button. There was no other option. And it was just, I mean, as my collection grew to hundreds and hundreds, it was like, okay, there's got to be a better option out there. And thankfully, eventually over the years, things did come out. And so it made it a lot easier. But yeah, I guess I'm one of those, I mean, and as I'm getting older, maybe not quite as much, but I think of an idea and I'm like, I want to make that happen. And so, okay, well, let's just do it. Maybe I'm a little impulsive in that because sometimes I have to make that decision or I'll overthink things. Like there's other things I'll just overthink it and over research and then nothing ever gets done. So it's like, if I want to do it, I just need to do it and then figure it out as I go. And that seems to work for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when I started tapping into your creativity, I really didn't know what I was doing at all. And so I just kind of went with it and I just started doing it. And I was,
Yeah.
working at nights just trying to figure it out. And I think maybe, taking that leap of faith and believing in yourself that maybe
Yeah.
you can do things
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
works.
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? You know, you discover after a little while, you're like, I don't know if this is for me, or maybe it's, you know, not what I expected. And I have to tell you, I don't know how you have done this consistently for as long as you've done it. I'm just like, wait a minute. How do you commit to that? Like, I'm afraid to commit to things like that every week. Like, okay. Because then it's like, well, what if something happens? What if I don't know. All those things are going through your mind, but yeah.
Well, that's not true. You just committed to the 100-day project and you
Well,
just finished that. And you've been committing
true.
to that for years. So I think
Yeah.
that's a big, huge commitment. And I would love to dive into that
Yeah.
because you just are fresh coming out of that.
Yep.
And
Yep.
what is the 100-day project? Has it helped you? And what was your project this year?
Yeah. Yeah. This is my 6th year. And it was my 6th year completing the 100-day project. So, I mean, I'm to say that is just like, wow.
I'm
I
I'm
look
I'm
back.
like this to you.
It is an accomplishment. The 100-day project is a global free project. You don't really sign up for it. You just make a commitment to, I want to do something on a daily basis that's creative. And then if you want to, you can post it to Instagram with the hashtag. But basically it's that daily creative habit, and you can do anything you want. There's different ways of looking at it. You know, you could be something that you could just practice for 100 days, or maybe you're producing something for 100 days. I kind of did a little bit of both. It was a little bit of practicing and exploring, but then I actually produced because I wanted to complete, and I approached it differently this year. This year I said, I want to complete 100 pieces of altered book covers. I just took old book covers and tore them apart and created art on them. And that was what I wanted to do. So it didn't mean that every day I made a brand new one. It meant that every day I was doing something that led me to my goal of finishing 100. So some days I just painted and painted and painted. And then I'd come back and narrow things down and say, okay, I like this part. What do I do next? And so that's kind of how I approached it. And that worked really well for me because I traveled some, and, life happens and it's really hard to commit to going, I'm going to make a painting every day for 100 days. Okay, that's a lot to take on. So this year I loved it. I absolutely loved it because I was coming off of a dry spell. Like the last 6 months of last year, I was so not creative. I didn't want to, I wasn't motivated, and I was really kind of getting a little worried. So the 100-day project started at the end of January, and I picked my project well because I loved it, and taking the pressure off and approaching it from the standpoint of just get 100 done. It doesn't matter, how you get there, just do something creative daily that puts you on the road to getting to that point. And so this year kind of validated for me how much I love working with collage. and what I want to do now as far as maybe exploring that a little bit more. And I think it's just each time I've completed it, and I haven't enjoyed it every year. Last year I did not enjoy the process. I picked my project not well, and but I stuck with it, which was just like excruciating at times. But
What was it? What was
I
it?
did swatches. Okay, no.
Oh.
I mean, it was great for like the first 30 days. And then after that, you're just like, oh my gosh, how many ways can I do a swatch? I thought it would be easy, but it wasn't. So, but I just think last year for me was just, the whole year was just rough for me. And I think my mindset was just not there. But the things that you learn, I mean, I think you learn to trust yourself. You learn to see that I can make a commitment to doing something and be motivated to follow through with it. For me, I do well when I have goals. If I come in here and go, what am I going to create today? I just kind of feel lost sometimes. But if I have a focus, that really helps me. And I've learned over the years, and especially this year, that was such a motivator for me. So that's a kind of a long way around of, 100-day project. But
Yeah, no, I think it's important also what you mentioned before, that you had a 6 month and maybe a little before, that you felt like you were
mm-hmm.
dry. And
Yep.
that is a common denominator with creators.
Mm-hmm.
You're not always creating, you're not always
Mm-hmm.
happy with what you're doing.
Right.
It happens to everyone. And I think we grow a lot from having those spells and
Yeah.
getting over them and getting
Right.
over the hump. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for you, getting into the 100 day project, it just motivated you to do
Yeah.
something. And like you said, you're
Right.
not thinking of
Mm-hmm.
what you're going to do today, but you have a clear project of how to approach it.
Exactly. And the project used to start the second Tuesday, I believe, in April. Last year they moved it to the end of January. And so coming out of the end of 2020 into 21, I was just like, it's too soon. What are you doing? I'm not ready after the holidays to jump into a 100-day project. And so I think all of that was just part of it. This year, I think it started like mid-February. So I had a little more time, but I think that really helped. And I love what you said about the fact that I think maybe others tend to think, am I the only one who goes through these dry spells? And am I the only one who, I mean, I'm talking 6 months of just, and you're just like, am I ever going to get through this? And it feels so good to have gotten through it and know, okay, even after 6 months, I can come in here and set a goal and create and really get through that. Because I think sometimes, I mean, I was getting worried because it was like, okay, this has been the longest I've had this happen to me. And is it going to get
And
better?
listen, 6 months is still okay. I mean, there are people that have it longer,
Mm-mm.
and it's really hard to get,
Yeah.
over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
But you do
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
over the hump, and you just
Yeah.
have to show up and start
Right.
painting or start writing or start creating,
Exactly. Yeah.
and that
Exactly.
will help you somehow get yourself going again. So, do you feel satisfied of your project?
I have mixed feelings. I was posting this the other day. I feel like there was a friend that was visiting me for 6 months or for 100 days, and now they've gone. And it's just sort of like, there was a feeling, I think, in the studio where it was just sort of like I was visiting that friend. And now it's like, oh, I'm glad that I can move on now and focus on something other than book covers. But I'm sad in a way as well, because it's like, oh, I was so attached and so close to it and so committed for 100 days that, so I have mixed feelings about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure you have some for us to see, hopefully.
Oh, absolutely. Hold on a second. In
Um,
fact, I'll have to just step away. Hold on.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay. I wasn't prepared.
I'm sorry. I just love when you share all your,
Yeah.
process and
Yeah.
inspirations and all that.
Yeah, I actually have two pieces because I'm actually preparing to teach at an art retreat in September, my first in person since the 2018. So I'm super excited. So I've been kind of working on, but
Where is it going to be?
it's called Sacred Makers Soul Art Retreat, and it's at Squam Lake in New Hampshire. I'm so excited because my husband and I have been wanting to go to Maine and Boston and that whole area, and well, we talk about it, and my husband, we live in Florida, says, well, I think I want to drive. I'm like, I'm not driving to Maine. I'm no. And so that's how the conversation always ends, right? So then I get invited to this retreat and I find out it's in New Hampshire. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're flying. I'm like, I'm getting my vacation out of this now. So anyway, he just looks at me like, okay. But anyway, so like I said, they are old. They're old. I mean, they're covers that I have, cut. Most of them are old because I like, when I was looking for covers and some of mine in my stash, some of them had like, not mold, but like just aging.
Yellowish.
Yeah. And some of them even had, there was one, it was a blue cover and it must have gotten a little water damage. And the covers, those old covers, sometimes are made of like a book cloth. They're not like correct. Today's books. I love them. Yes. And it had a little bit of that and had kind of like seeped through the back. I don't know, just really love the way that works. But anyway, so these are very much collage. Like this is what I ended up doing was I found that I work best on these huge pieces of sketchbook paper, like 18 by 24, inexpensive. And I just paint and paint and paint and layer and layer and layer. Then I use a viewfinder to kind of start looking at the overall piece and then narrowing it down into, oh, okay, I like that. And now I'll focus on that little spot. And so then a lot of those pieces become either collage, like there's some strips here of collage, or it's the whole entire thing. And then I just add, other little bits to it as I go. So I didn't sit down and paint that because that doesn't work for me. So I think I figured out during the process, hey, if that doesn't work for you, then do what does. And so for me, it was just working big with all the things and then narrowing it down. And like, what does it matter what your process is? I mean, I'm not getting up there and painting a big painting. I'm just working on something big, making it smaller, and then layering it and collaging it. And so I found that really was working for me. And I'm excited about that because it's okay that I'm not using super expensive paper, right? Because I'll be like, oh, I'm using this cheap sketchbook paper. Is that okay? Well, yeah, it's okay if that's what you want, right?
Right. And how did you mount them into the book cover?
Oh yeah, I used gel. I used a golden soft gel. And it was the best because it didn't give me problems with bubbles or anything, and it dried really well and smooth. And then I would use an old credit card to smooth it out. But I did some bigger ones, and then I just would do like half and then do the other half, and it worked out good. But I mean, I love my glue stick, but that would not work for this. This needed to be completely filled. So yeah.
And how do you see them as a whole, or what are you going to do with them? How are you going to display them? How are you?
Yeah, well, I mean, most of them are in my shop, but I have pulled my favorites out. There's all kinds of things you can do. One of the things, I don't have it here, but you can actually mount one of these onto, say, a sketchbook that you buy, or maybe one you've made, so that you kind of enhance the cover. And if you want to do a closure on it, you could put a sari ribbon or ribbon, glue it down, and then it would be closed on the side. The other thing I like, let me show you this. It's not a book cover, but it's the idea is you can get these you can get wrapped canvas, but get it smaller than the cover, and so then when you mount it, it's mounted to the back, and then you can hang it on the wall. Yeah, I love that idea.
I love that idea.
So that you could, I framed one. I don't have it in here, but I framed it with a mat. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Black frame with a white mat, and it's just right in the, it's just, I love it. And it's not perfect because the book covers are odd sizes.
Right.
But I love the way
they warp a little.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah.
So they're not the perfect. There's something to say about it. Yes. 100%.
Yeah. 100%. So I know there's other ideas. You could put it in an easel and display, if you wanted to do that. So there's various things you could do with them. Yeah. So, yeah.
And you are donating a piece today for Feeding America. So we're going to show that.
Okay.
So you can.
You want me to show it? It's not in here.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was supposed to show it.
Roben-Marie, I have a picture of it, and I will post it again. But it's one of a kind. It is unbelievable. It's amazing. It's super cool. we're asking $75 for it. And remember that 100% of the proceeds go to Feeding America. So
Yes.
if you are interested in purchasing and helping others today, please DM me or Roben-Marie, and we'll give you direction as how to do your donation. So
I'm so sorry.
no,
I
that's totally
was like, wait a minute, it's supposed to have it in here. Yeah.
Don't worry. You know, we're getting close to giving away 350,000 meals,
It's
and
amazing.
it feels so good. It feels
Yes.
so good to be able to help people in you know, in
Yeah.
need. So that's why I do this. It's awesome.
Yeah,
And
this project has been amazing, truly amazing. Like, how many, okay, can I add, now I'm going to turn the interview around. How many artists have you interviewed? Like, how many total have you done?
more than
Ballpark.
100, more than 100, for
Yeah.
sure, more than 100. I
Yeah.
don't even know anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's and you know, interestingly enough, it's so wonderful because all of my army of artists that I call you guys have become my friends.
Yeah.
And you know, and I just called you the other day. I'm like, hey, do you want to
I
jump
know.
in? And you're like, yes. So
Yes,
you know, it's just
and that was through text messaging. So
yes.
when you have someone's cell phone number, it's like, yeah, you're kind of in, right? So we're like,
Exactly. And
yeah.
I feel like, you know, my community of artists
Mm-hmm.
has expanded enormously. And I've met truly genuine people that want to help others. And you are one of those persons that I think that you're very giving in your videos and your reels and your stories and you know, it feels really good when you can give, you know, with
Uh,
nothing really in return. Just give because you want to give and because you're genuine, and people love that. And I think you are one of those, you
oh,
know, yeah,
well,
persons that
thank
you
you.
just
That's very
you
sweet.
give, and it's really amazing. And I actually want to switch gears a little bit, and
Mhm.
I want to pick your brain into
Sure.
going into the tech side of things, and maybe
Sure.
talking a little bit about what's happening in social media, and give us the newest trend, what's going on. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of us probably already know because we've seen such a decline in our views and in our engagement. And, Instagram's pretty much made it clear they're going video. And the latest thing that I don't have it yet in mind, but what they're probably going to do, and you're going to see it, is your feed will start looking like TikTok. It will
Mm-hmm.
just be video, like the full screen. And rather than going in and looking at the post and seeing the title and the first part of the comment, you're not. Unless you switch over and you do, how if you have it on your account, if you don't, just wait, everything eventually gets there, where you can just do the people you follow
Yeah.
and it will be in chronological order, where I'm assuming, because if it's going to be that way, not all of them will be videos, that it will be like the normal feed. But that's what they're saying. They're saying that it will be going to that. It's such, I got mixed feelings because I love going into Instagram and seeing the inspiration and seeing the images and going through them. And when I log in and all I see are videos, 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 I just get out. And they don't want you out. They want you to stay on the app. So sometimes when I do that, and then I'll wait about 5 or 10 minutes and come back in, and then they're gone and it's more of the images. Like, it's saying, okay, we know that you don't like, it's not that I don't like video, because I'm doing the video. I'm kind of being forced to do the video. In fact, I was just updating my Makers Tech group, and they are now doing bonuses. They're paying people to do reels. So not everyone, if you don't qualify for it yet, but you'll know when you have it. And based on the
It
number of
actually
views,
pops, it pops
yes,
out on your screen, and it has
yes,
pop up on my screen every time. And every time I've said no.
yeah.
So do I now say yes?
Um, Here's the thing. This is the way I see it. I see it as, if I'm going to be doing reels, I might as well make a few dollars doing it. And I'm not saying it's going to make you rich, because you'd have to have a lot of views to make money. I think the most in a month I got was maybe $160. But that's
Hmm.
$160. If I'm going to do the reels anyway, why not make a little extra
How
money?
many views do you need to have in order to get paid? Is
Yeah,
it by month, or is it by
yeah,
reel?
they
Is it
run,
by
what it'll do is it will, when you choose and say, okay, I want to do this, it will walk you through step by step setting it up, because you have to agree to some things, and then you have to enter like your PayPal address so that they can pay you. And then when you go into your Instagram account, you go under your settings, you'll go under business. There'll be a drop down, you say business, and then click that, and then you'll see bonus at the top. Then when you click on that, mine says eligible because I'm eligible, and then it shows like my monthly history and payout. They do it by month. So what they'll do is they'll say you have between this to by, say, June 12th to earn on those videos that you've posted for that period of time. So after that period of time, those videos that you had posted, it's my understanding, it doesn't matter if people watch them, but people are going to watch them when you post them. You're going to get the most views probably within, I'm noticing, within about a week. Like, it doesn't happen right away. I see the numbers go up more after it's been out for a little while. So, I don't think I answered your question. Oh, the views. I don't have the exact number, but it's a lot. But it tells me, and it will likely tell you when you sign up, it will give you like your max. Like, this is the most you can earn. And that's gone up a little bit. But I think when it first said you have this, it was like $800. But 160 versus 800 means I didn't get enough views. But I mean, I'm not going to stress about it, and I'm not going to focus just on that. But if I'm going to
I was
do
just
the
going
reels,
to ask you that because I feel like, it's hard enough for people to engage and to do a picture, like just, a standstill picture, which I love that. I think as a curator myself, when I'm looking to find artists to come into this program, I love seeing, what they're doing, not necessarily their videos, because I think as a curatorial part of it, I like seeing more of a portfolio kind of thing. And I think that, we have to now carry that other hat by being now videographers. And that takes a lot from an artist, and maybe people will not be as engaged anymore because they don't want to, have to have the video thing.
And like I said, I got mixed feelings because it's sort of like, if you don't get on board, you're going to be left behind. But it's like, I don't want to get on board, but I'm having to get on board. So I'm trying to find ways to make it work for me where I'm not feeling like I come in here and go, okay, I have to film a video. I'm trying to be more creative. Like today I posted, and here's to say, you don't have to post the reel into your feed. You can still post feed images and then only post the reel to your reels, to your videos. However, I tested that and I don't get as many views. Like, they're really bad. If I don't put them in my feed, then I'm talking thousands and thousands versus a couple hundred. That's the difference. So I've been testing things to figure out, does this work? Does that not work? But like today, and this was not my original idea, I saw this on some, I don't know, foodie page or something, where she had done a recap of her month. And I was like, ooh, I like that, because it not only shows you as the person and all the things you did, because we post in our stories, but it showed the art side. So I did a recap video where I just did 1 second of like all these different things that were in my camera roll. All I did was go to my camera roll and just boop, boop, boop. And I was like, oh, that was fun. I enjoyed watching it because it was a recap of my life in the month of May. And I was like, I like that idea. I think I'm going to do it every month. So I think it's just getting creative, and it doesn't have to be. And this is where I'm like, I personally don't like watching fast forward videos where I can't even see what they're creating. Like, it's so fast. But there's ways that you can do it where it can be interesting and people would like it. So I started approaching that a little bit when I was doing the 100-day project. So for instance, one of the days I was using these new alcohol markers. I was like, oh, these are kind of fun. So I just focused in on using the marker on a portion of what I was doing. And then I just did a little quick reel and just talked a little bit about it, because most of the reels, well, they're not going to be more than 60 seconds anyway. So you either have 15, 30, some accounts have 60, but the sweet spot is somewhere between, like, it's different for everybody, but 9 and 15 seconds. That's it. That's not a lot of time.
It's not a lot of time.
No. And here's the other thing you can do. And this is something else I've been experimenting with, and I just kind of share all this with my membership, is I've been taking, like, in Canva, you can do this in Canva, take those stills, like take a still shot of whatever it is you're doing, and then put that at the very beginning for maybe, I don't know, 4 seconds, then put your little video clip in, so that when it's going through the feed, the first thing that you see is about 3 to 4 seconds of your image. And then you're like, and then it goes to the video. So it's like you can still give what people want, this beautiful image or whatever you're sharing, and then you can go into the video so they can watch it or not watch it, right? And then make that your cover so that it's the cover. So when
Exactly.
someone's looking at your feed, they
Exactly.
just see that
They just
beautiful
see the
art.
cover.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm
Exactly.
testing that too. I'm testing. You got to test. I'm testing to see, does it make a difference if I put a video in with just the still image of, say, a finished piece of art, or does
The
it
other
make,
way around.
or does it make a difference if in the video cover you can see me doing something and go, ooh, what is she doing? And I'm starting to see that I get more views on the ones that aren't the still photo. So there you go.
I
I don't know.
agree. And I have the same thing with you. I literally have the same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
if I do a reel, you can see the thousands. If I see
Mhm.
just the picture, it could be 150
Yeah.
if I get lucky.
And it's because Instagram is favoring the videos and they're pushing those out and they're pushing those out. They're not, when they're looking at the algorithm, they want you to be they want you to watch videos. So it's only natural that if people are posting videos that you follow and images, they're going to push those reels and those videos to your
And
feed.
the other thing that changed was where you had your name before, you
Mhm.
can now add words
Yes. Yeah.
that
Yes. Are
will be
searchable.
artist, creator,
Yes. Yep.
abstract painter, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
so can
That's
you
right.
talk a little bit about that?
Yes, and that's huge, I think, because now we're not talking about the part where it's your handle. Now, granted, my name is my handle, so I don't need to put my name in my name field. This is the name portion. And it used to be very, like, I think mine said like mixed media artist and teacher. Like you couldn't get very much in there. Those words are searchable. So if somebody's searching and types in mixed media, and you have that in your name, it's searchable. So don't like stuff it with a whole bunch of like word, be discreet. And I noticed when I went on your page today, I'm like, oh, she's got the long one now. So I see you've already done yours. And so it's like,
I did
okay,
my homework. I'm trying my best to keep up.
I know it's like, it's exhausting. So it's
It's
like, okay,
exhausting.
mixed media artist and teacher. And then I don't know what else I put in there, but I think it's like around 140 characters, 144. You just have to kind of test it out.
I think it's like no more than 140.
Yeah, I think it's right in that range because I mean,
Yeah.
you have to kind of test it
Yeah.
out.
And if you
But
guys
yeah,
don't know what we're talking about, go to my page and
yep,
see what I have as a description, or Roben-Marie's. And
yep,
then you can literally copy and paste. I don't even
yeah,
care. But do it, because that will help
yes,
you.
yes, because
Yeah.
then you're giving more searchable information about your account and what you do in that area. And like underneath it, I think, when you sign up, you give like, I mean, mine says artist. It's that little gray little word
Yes.
that's under it.
Yes.
So it's like your handle, your name, and then whatever that little word is, and then your bio. So that's
Correct.
where you want to make that. But don't, like I said, don't go in there and stuff it with mixed media artists. I mean, you
No, be
could, but
clear to
don't
the
do that.
point.
Yeah,
No,
clear
I
and to the point.
agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Clear to the point, and
Yep,
what
yep.
describes you best, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
What
So
words, if you wanted someone to find you, what words would you think that they, if they would they type in? What are
correct.
those? And
Correct.
then find a way to make that interesting and put that in there. But that's another thing that's changed. Now, I want to say this. If you don't have it, don't worry. Everything gets rolled out and people don't understand. They think, well, I don't understand why some people have it and some people don't. It's because there are how many different types of cell phones out there? How many different operating systems are out there? All of those have to be updated so that they are with the new version. So make sure you update and just keep checking. And if you can't type in more, then you don't have it yet. Just come back to it and then, try again later. So yeah.
It's all trial and error. At
Okay.
this point, everything
I
is trial
know.
and error.
I know.
Let's move to
Okay.
TikTok. Is that something that are you in it, or you just focus on
Um,
reels?
yeah, here's what I did. I avoided it forever. Like I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't watch it. I don't get on it. So I'm thinking it might have been maybe at the beginning of the 100-day project. Maybe I was in it for, I don't know, 20 or 30 days. I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get on TikTok. And so I was just posting the same videos over there. And I was like, I don't even get on it. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to be on it. And it was like one more thing. And so I was like, I'm out. I'm not doing it. I'm simplifying. I don't do Twitter. And I'm very seldom ever posting on Facebook, like ever. Like even my page, I very seldom post to anymore. And I feel better because it's like, I'm going to focus on one thing. That's not the only thing, but it's the only social media. My list and being in contact with my list every week on a personal
That is,
level is
yeah.
way more important than social media, because that's, that's that connection. I mean, and you have to kind of, this day and time, you kind of have to have a little bit of both. But I mean, if I lost my account or something happened, obviously I can still communicate with and I still blog and I still.
So you just said something very important, and I want our viewers to understand that social media can go away in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to have your email list
right
treated as the most important thing that you have, because that is, you're in with your people, with
That's
people
right.
that really want to engage with you and really want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Even though that you might have thousands of people, following you, they're not all want to hear from you. But the people that are, in your email list, in your newsletter, those are the people that you want to make sure that they're taken care of.
Right. And they've said, yes, I want to, they can always unsubscribe if it becomes this, I don't have time, this isn't my thing anymore, whatever. We follow people and then we kind of change our ideas and where we're going. But that I look at that as that's the special group. They get notified of everything before everybody else does. They get special deals. They get it. No, it doesn't, go to the public. It goes to them because I want to treat them special. There's she's a copywriter, but she's very much into the lists and all. And Kate Doster is her name, and she's a riot. And she says this a lot, like, how the mental, positive self-speak. Hers is, it's a privilege to be on my list. That's what she says. And I'm like, okay, that's a little, but that's what she says. It's like, and you treat those people that are on it like they've come to the 5-course dinner, and you're serving your best and you're using your best china. And it's just like, yeah, because I like that when I sign up for lists and I'm treated that way and I know what's going on and I get a little bit of personal attention and I know more about that person. And so that's really, I know people say it, but it's true. You really need to have that list and be communicating, and don't sign people up and then not talk to them. Like, if you can't do once a week, do once every couple of weeks, or at the minimum once a month. But don't sign people up and then 6 months later, you still haven't sent them anything. They're not even going to know who you are when you finally do, right?
Right. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Anything else on Instagram that we missed?
I'm trying to think. Those are some of the biggies right now. Is the bonuses, yeah. I can't think of anything. I bet if you got off this call, there'll be something, because it seems like every week there's something happening, right?
I know. We might have to have another, like, part 5 and part 6.
Okay.
And,
yeah.
We'll just keep updating our people, because
I love it.
Yeah. I love doing this for others. Okay, so let's talk about Makers Tech U.
Okay.
Because this is your baby, your project. Like you said in the beginning, you're a tech savvy person, and you helped me. I was a student of Roben-Marie's when I started my my website. And so can you describe a little bit about what that is?
Yes. In a nutshell, Makers Tech U is what I say is a very high touch membership. You hear from me weekly. I handhold to a degree where if you need help, I'm there to help you. But I have a plan for you to come in where I teach organization and productivity, social media, creating your website, shop, blog, list building, video editing and filming. And there's a lot in there. Graphics, creating graphics in Canva. The things that I know are important to the artist, because that's who I teach. I've had ministers in there, and I had an author, but predominantly I'm speaking to the creative, to the artist, because I am one, right? And I know that it can get frustrating to sit there on Google and go, okay, I'm trying to do XYZ, but I don't really know what it's called. So an hour later, you've wasted your life because you have no idea what you're looking for. And then you find a video and you piece it with that video and that video, and none of it makes any sense. So I create it and break it down into small videos where I walk you through step by step the things that you're wanting to learn and make it much faster for you. And really just having me sort of in your back pocket when you need to ask a question and you need me, I'm there. And that's huge. I mean, from what I hear from my members, just having access to that makes a huge difference. And that's what I want out of that membership. I want to be able to help members who want to build their website. If you don't want to do that, but you want to get better at your social media, get better at video editing, get better at creating graphics. I mean, all the things that really we're needing to do to promote our business. Now, that said, this isn't a membership where you come in and I help you figure all of what you want to do out.
Right.
You have to know what you want to do when you come in. I'm just teaching you technology. And so if you need a coach, then you might figure that out first and then come in, and then I'll help you with all the technology.
You call me because I'm going to be the coach, the artist
there you
coach.
Go. There you
and
go.
then
Yeah.
I'll send them to you.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
So, that's pretty much what it is. And there's a lot of training in there, a lot. And I cover a lot of topics, and I try my best to stay on top of things, especially with social media, the newer and the latest things. Sometimes I do branch a little bit into strategy because I'm doing it myself, but primarily this is how you do it step by step. The tech steps is what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you say you break it down, let's just choose a topic for the sake of it, or a couple of topics. One would be, let's say, video. So how do you teach that part? How to actually video in your studio,
yes.
how to actually
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I teach at the very beginning of that training. I'm in my studio and I walk you through and show you all of the things that I use, but they aren't all the things you need, but I show, because I'm asked those questions all the time. Here's the microphone I use. Here's the thing that will hold your cell phone, and here's the lighting. And I literally show with the phone, me filming, and because I film with my smartphone, another one showing exactly how I go through the process of filming. And it's just as simple as I want it to be simple for me. So, but I walk through all the tools, I go through the technology. And then when we get to, let's say, one of the apps that I love to use for social media and videos, these fast ones, is InShot. So I bring you into videos where literally you're looking at my cell phone, it's on the screen, and I'm walking you through step by step how to do all the things that are in the app. And so that would be an example, but yes, I do cover all of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I actually learned about InShot because of you. So that was a really cool thing.
I just love that app. I love it. Yeah.
And, and I think that if you are building yourself a website, it can be daunting. It could be, something that you feel very overwhelmed and you don't even know where to start. And I think you really break it down to the point where I'm not going to say it's super easy, but it's easier. Right. With the step-by-step.
Yes, it is. And I'm an impatient person. Like when I sign up for something, I want results like that. And so I understand that mindset, and we're all like that, I guess. We're just instant gratification. But you can't build a website in an hour. You just can't do it. And there's preparation that I go through. There's even branding training in there that I did with a friend that's not tech-based as much, but it's branding. And it's messaging and all of that will help as you go into the next step of creating your website. And it's not glamorous and fun and creative in the beginning of creating your website, because you have to set it up. There's all these things you have to do that are not fun. And I have to tell the members, you have to set the foundation. You build a house, you pour the foundation, and then you work up to the pretties. Then you go pick the cabinetry and the flooring. You have to do these things before you get to these other steps. And if you do, and you follow the directions, you will have success. And I have many who have gone through and have had success by just following the videos. And they're short. It can be so overwhelming. I don't want to look at an hour-long video. These are broken down. Some of them are 5, 3 minutes, maybe 8, 10, just depends on the content. You have enough time each day to just say, I'm going to knock out 3 videos or whatever and just work
Yeah.
through it. So,
And
yeah,
your library is very extensive. So if if you want to switch to, doing Canva, you can do that. If you want to
exactly.
switch
Yeah.
to, just for a minute, so your brain is not
Yeah.
like,
Right.
dead. You
Yeah.
you keep switching it around, and I love I love it. I love it all. I'm a huge fan. So
Thank you.
check her out on
Yeah.
Makers Tech U. The other thing that you just started,
Mm.
because you don't have enough stuff that
Yeah.
you've done, is a podcast.
Yes.
So
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit
I
about
will.
that?
Yeah, because it's a little different than your average podcast. Now, I have done a podcast in the past with my friend Sandy Keene. It was the Creatives Get Real podcast. And this is a little different. This is actually, and this is kind of fun for, those of you in the audience and those that will be listening in the future. You want to do some list building. You want to build your email list. I created this podcast specifically to give value, encourage, motivate the artist, but also to get them on my email list so that I can help them even more. And so this is what is called a private podcast. So you can't just go into Apple and find it. It's private. So you sign up for it like you would a class or any other thing. And then you get your own personalized link. And then you can download it to not Spotify, Google and Apple. And then it's in your feed, just like it would be if you were listening to any other podcast. It's just that you have to sign up to get access. You can't just find it on the app. So it's called the Artist Life Podcast. And I'm planning another one too with a little different topic. The next one will be more geared with the Instagram tips, the business tips, the things like that. So it'll be a little bit more focused on that. This other one, the Artist Life, is more just encouraging, motivation, tips and things about just living the artist life and things that we go through, like what we talked about earlier about those creative blocks and different things like that. So yeah. So I'm really
And
excited
it's
about it.
free. The only thing that you need to do is sign
Yeah.
up, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
free.
Yeah. It's free. Yeah, absolutely. It's free. You just sign up and then you'll get emailed your own personalized link. And then what happens is you click it. And then let's say you choose Apple Podcasts. It opens up your Apple Podcast. If you're on your phone, it's a little different. And then there's a little box that comes up that says it has your unique subscribe link, and you just hit subscribe and then it downloads it to your phone. Super easy.
Yeah, it's super easy. And what a fun and perfect way to, get the both of them
Yeah.
crisscross. I'm going to open the comments
Okay.
now.
Okay.
I had
Awesome.
turned them off. I'm sorry, because otherwise it gets very distracting.
Oh,
but
yes.
if anyone has questions for Roben-Marie or myself, this is the time for you guys to ask questions. And believe me, you want to ask a lot of questions because we have a very, very tech savvy, incredible person here. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be the first question again.
Okay.
I guess. What are your top 3 tips, I think, that you would give to beginners, starting social media, starting a new project? Where should their head be? What are your feelings on that?
You mean from like a tech standpoint or
No,
art
as a
standpoint?
creator. Yeah.
A creator. Something I did a little differently with the 100-Day Project this year was I created a workbook, and I actually documented and kept that workbook and wrote notes down as I was creating and working, thoughts I had, ideas I had, how was I feeling about something, because you can't remember those things. And I know that sounds like maybe a little woo-woo, but having that to look back on and go, oh, and just whatever it is, the process of creating something, I really liked how I did this with that, and that worked great. So I'm going to remember that, So I would say if there's a way for you, even if it's just on a piece of paper where you're just jotting down notes, document things, a journal, a sketchbook, something like that. Okay. So what else? You're starting a project. I don't know. I wasn't prepared for this. I can talk tech stuff all day long.
It's okay. Irma just said, I'd like to know which vitamins you're taking because your energy is
Oh my
exuberant.
God. Okay. Actually, I'm looking at myself and I look a little jaundiced today. It's the lighting, I think. I look like I'm kind of orange, but anyway, you're so bright and clear. And I think okay. So anyway, I do take vitamins, but I just kind of like this, I guess. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, somebody else just said, how do you adhere the book covers to the canvas since the covers are heavy? Does the gel hold?
Oh, yes. Oh, you mean to the, okay, so to this stretched canvas. Yes, the book covers are actually very light. They're not super heavy. Now, I did use some in the project that were really old and the books were a little thicker, but gel medium, and you could go with either the medium or the heavy gel. That kind of medium is actually used to like hold three-dimensional objects onto things. So yes, it absolutely will hold. No problem.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then your student or someone that knows you very well, I don't have a question, but I wanted to say I couldn't have launched my website without the help of
Oh,
Roben-Marie
oh, who was
and
it?
Makers Tech U. Emily
Oh,
Stam?
Emily Stam. Yes. Hey, Emily. Yes. She recently, yes, yes. Oh, she's been such a joy to work with. Yeah. She's one of our members. She's one of our founding members, actually. She's been with me from the very beginning.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And the fact that you have that support and because I mean, as creators and as educators, we feed off each other.
Yep.
And so we learn from you as much as we learn
Yep.
from them, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a two-way street. So
Yeah.
it's really important. Who inspires you?
Oh gosh. Oh, there's so many artists that I enjoy and that I love. As of late, I'm really inspired by real abstract and full of color. Honestly, I can't think of the names off the top of my head. There's one artist though, and I can't think of her name. Contos or something. I can't think of what her handle is because that's what you remember are some of the handles. But yeah, so I mean, I think in that way, just lots of color and very abstract painters are just some that I'm just really, really drawn to right now. Yeah.
And okay, now going into the tech side of things,
Okay.
what are three things that artists and creators should be doing now?
With regard to the technology.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll give you a couple tips. They might be a little random, but let's talk about video when we're editing or when we're filming, especially when we're doing courses. I always like to say,
the question, the
yeah,
woman said Lynn Contest, is that it?
I think that's it. She's got these bold shapes and abstracts and stuff, and I think she's from Portugal. I love her work. It's amazing.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Thank
So
you for that.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah. So if you're working on like courses or you're filming, because I know a lot of us are doing that, or even tutorials that you're wanting to show your work. It doesn't have to be for Instagram. It can be long form for YouTube, is to think about the editing process while you're filming. So if you're in editing, I believe from a tech side and just from a user experience, it's important to edit your videos. There'll be people that will say, just put it out there, be real. Well, some things, yeah, but if your tripod falls down, you might want to edit that part out. Just think about the person that's watching your class. Is think about that when you're editing. So if you're talking and you're sharing something important, but you're tearing paper off a package at the same time, you're going to hear all that noise while you're talking and they might miss it. So it's just that idea of thinking about, oh, well, if I'm going to edit that part, I might need to not talk through something important. I need to be calm for, undo that, whatever. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you said three things that are related
Well, it doesn't need to be three things. I
Yeah.
mean, it could be whatever.
Yeah.
But
Well,
so
we talked
Lisa
about
said
the
maybe
list.
it's Heather Chantes.
Yes, that's
Chon.
it. That's it.
Her. And I think she lives in France. I think she's
France.
maybe
Okay.
French.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa, for that. And
Oh
thank
my
you,
gosh.
Bonnie.
Her work is just, I just love when I see her. Oh, so that one, I love her stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
And so since you touched a little bit about YouTube, let's just move to YouTube for a second. How do you get paid ads if you have a channel on YouTube? How do you do that?
That I don't know. I don't do that. So I don't have an answer for you for that one. And actually, since we are talking about, this is just how crazy nuts this whole thing has gotten, is now YouTube has what they call shorts, which are just like our reels and TikTok.
It's the same thing.
It's like, oh my gosh. It's like,
one more thing.
So I think the thing is don't feel like you have to be everywhere, because you don't. Right. You can't. You just can't. Right. So yeah. So I can't answer that.
Yeah. No, I think that there's the two versions from me interviewing people. Some are from the same train of thought as you, that they can't handle but just one.
Right.
And others are like, I'm just putting it, just
Yeah.
all of the platforms. I'll
Yeah.
just use all of the platforms, and whatever
Right.
works, works. And so it just depends, really. It's a very, very personal decision on
Yep.
how you want to do that and how
Sure.
invested you want to be. And also you have to listen to yourself to be like, you know what, I need a breather. I'm out.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that over time, I was one of those that just everywhere. I want to be on everything. And as I've gotten older, as my doctor likes to say, he'll have his little microphone and he's like, age appropriate, whatever. And I'm like, stop saying that. I know I'm older now. Stop it. But it's like, you don't have as much energy. It's like, okay, I don't have the energy I had 15 years ago or even 10 years ago to be like, all right, I'm going to do a separate post for that and a separate post for that and a separate post for that. Because in reality, your Twitter audience, your YouTube audience, your Facebook and your Instagram, they're probably all different. So if you're throwing the same thing out there for all of them, it may not be working. So do you really need to do that? But yes, you're right. There are different schools of thought on that. For me, it was just reaching a point where I was like, I'm out. I can't focus on all this anymore.
100%.
Yeah.
So Bonnie just asked, what
Okay.
was the app that we were talking about? I believe we were talking about InShot.
InShot. Yes. And I actually have some free training on that. If you go to my website, it's actually Instagram training with a little bit of the InShot. I did the InShot training where I actually show how I film and record like those little snippets of working videos and then edit it all in InShot. You know what? If this is the best way to do that, send me a DM on Instagram and I'll send you the link and you can sign up. It's free and I'll show you the ins and outs of it. And you can decide if it's an app you can use. And the app, you can use the free version of the app too. So yeah.
That's fantastic. So where can we find Roben-Marie?
Oh, well, Instagram, big time. Roben-Marie, Robenmarie. That's pretty much my handle on everything as much as I can do it. So that, and then my website is robenmarie.com. So I would say for sure those two places are like where you'll find me the most. Yeah.
Perfect.
You're welcome, Bonnie.
Yeah. So I'm sure she'll reach out or whatnot. But I just want to say, just thank you again, my friend, so much for joining me today. Look in my stories. Both Roben-Marie and I will share that book cover that is for that is the donation for Feeding America. We're asking $75 for it. So please let us know if you're interested. DM me or Roben-Marie, and we'll let you know what to do next. And stay tuned. You never know what happens with Roben-Marie and myself. So
yeah, this is my third time on your show. I love it. Thank you so much for inviting me again. I really appreciate it. I love coming on and sharing and talking and just being able to.
I love our chemistry. It just flows. It's just fun and relaxing, and it's just, I love that. So thank you again, my friend. We'll be in touch. And check robenmarie.com and Makers Tech U and podcast and just everything that she has going on.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys. All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.